Hello everybody, I'm HippieNolic2, and welcome to my comparison of Ryu, Ken, and Terry. Now Terry is the newest DLC character. He just came out a few days ago, so I won't be talking much about which one is the best because we really don't know yet. But I will be going over is if Terry is just another Echo Fighter that they decide to say he's a new DLC character, or if he's really his own character and all. He is very similar to Ken and Ryu, and Sakurai pointed that out a lot, but honestly, he's different enough where I see where the difference is. And even that, Ken is the most diversified Echo Fighter from the original, so this is definitely going to be an interesting video. It took me a really long time because I'm terrible at doing the special inputs. Primarily, I'll be looking at the max damage output for each move, but take in mind I will be discussing sort of their other moves and how their playstyle is. I won't be going too much into combos because I'm not particularly good at them. I don't play a lot of combo-heavy characters per se, but stick with me and I hope you enjoy the video. Alright, so first up we have the smash attacks, and for the up smash, Ryu and Ken do the same, but Terry does a bit more, and just to note that Terry's is on the end, so you won't get this amount of damage if the other person is on the ground. And for the down, again, Ryu and Ken do the same, and they actually do more than Terry in this instance. And then for the side smash, Ryu does more than Ken here, in his foot, and he does more knockback, but Ken is faster, and then Terry is slower than them, just in his general movement speed is slower, and he does the most at 30.2 damage. Now, I haven't included kill percents in this video, mainly I just didn't have the time to do it, but if you look at the trajectory angles, you can go to sort of get a sense of the knockback. Second up, we have the special moves. Now, if you're a long-time viewer, you know that this is a little out of order, and I've done this purposely because most of the differences between the characters are in the special moves, and this is going to be the majority of them, so I've promoted it up here. So for the neutral, they all have their projectiles. They're stronger when you hold them down, but for Ryu, he has a special input that you can do, which changes from the blue to the red fire, which is stronger. I would definitely say that Ryu's projectile is the best. Take in mind that without the special input, it's still, I would consider it the best because it does do more damage than Ken's, and Ken's is very similar, but it's the same damage overall. And Terry's is also similar, but it's on the ground. So I think it's a much better zoning when it's in the air. Moving on to something new is the neutral special air, and I've just done this because Terry in the air does different damage for his neutral special, but it doesn't actually move out. Like Ryu and Ken's are just the same as they would be, but Terry's is just very close range, and it does 13.2%. For the up specials, now here you have to do the special inputs for each of the characters. Ken comes out with the fire, huge knockback, probably the best one out of these three. Terry's, you hold down, which is sort of weird, then up, and then you do 19.9, but it's probably the worst out of them. And then Ryu's is also pretty good, has a fair amount of knockback. For the down specials, Ryu and Ken's are pretty much the same. I think Ken might have a little more range on his, and both of those will make the opponent fall down. Terry, on the other hand, his is great for combos. It'll go up, and it leads into a lot of potential moves, and that is that one is the damage with the special input. For the forward smash, now all of these you can use to get some more horizontal distance for your recovery, since none of these characters are good at recovering. They're all pretty similar in that matter. Ken actually does more damage than Ryu, and then Terry does the most damage, and that is a special input move. So you got to learn those. For the back special, which is something only Terry has, he does 18.7, and it's pretty good. It's a really good mix-up tool, and I like that. For the super special one, so the super special moves are when you're over 100%. So that does 31.2%, and it leads in from a lot of combos, and it's a good switch up tool, like I said, and it's a great move to kill with. Super special 2, I could not pull this one off myself, I'm going to be honest, and I don't actually know what the percent is, even though I've looked at various different things and looked at the percentages. I could not figure it out. So in the little presentation that Sakurai did, he did 25%, but then when I was playing online, somebody did 32% to me. So I'm not really sure what that's about, but if you have any ideas, leave a comment, because I want to know. Then finally, we have their final smashes. So you can see there that Ryu does the least, Ken does the second most, and then Terry does the most. It should be said that Ken and Ryu's, they have 2, and these are their close-up ones, and all of these final smashes can be used out of a combo. So I didn't do that, but you can. For the grabs and throws, there's not much difference at all. In terms of Ken and Ryu, they are doing the same exact move every time, except for the back throw. Now, even though they have the same damage output, Ken rolls back a little bit further, which you'll see in the video, putting the opponent closer to off the edge, which is, I think, better. Terry's moves are pretty unique in how they look, and some of them do a little bit more damage, but they're pretty similar overall. Moving on to the aerial attacks, we can see once again that Ryu and Ken are very similar in the fact that they're doing pretty much the same damage for each of their moves, except you really need to pay attention to the video part, because you'll see that they have different hitboxes and the speed that the moves come out, and then sort of just how they hit. Terry, on the other hand, his aerial game isn't too great. In some instances, he is doing more damage, but it isn't as profound as the other moves when compared to Ryu and Ken. Finally, we have their neutral game, which actually might be their most complicated game, because there's so many different variables. Depending on how far you're away from the opponent, a different move will be thrown out for Ryu and Ken, and depending how long you hold down the button, or if you do, depending on that, it'll do a different move for different characters. But for their maximum damage potential, which I have shown here, Ken does the most, Terry does the second most, and then Ryu does the least. For the dash, Terry does the most, Ryu and Ken are the same, again further up tilt, but Terry then does less. For the down tilt, Terry does the least. He doesn't really have the strong version like Ryu and Ken do, but then Ryu and Ken, they have their jabs, which do like 1.9%. And of course, you use those for combos. So again, this is maximum damage, not what you might be using, because there's a huge combo game here that is not being taken into account. Side tilt, Ryu does the least, Ken does a little more, then Terry does the most. And then for the run, they're all about the same run speed, give or take a little bit. And then Ken, I think, can jump the highest, Ryu the second highest, and then Terry the least. Answer the question, is Terry a unique character? I say yes. He definitely has a lot of inspiration from the Ryu model, but enough of his moves are different. They're doing different damage, they're doing different knockback and everything, and he just has sort of a different play style, and in my opinion, which is more fun. I'm not a big fan of playing either Ryu or Ken, but I actually sort of enjoy playing Terry. And this is great news because he was probably the character that I think, me included, everyone was the least hyped about. Not a lot of people played Fatal Fury, I don't think. It's not as well known as Street Fighter, but I think he's a lot of fun, and I think he's a good addition. Sakurai really pointed that out, and when he was showcasing the character, that it's about how much fun you can have playing the character, and I think that's really true. I think he's a good addition. I don't like when all the characters are always predicted. It's good to really mix things up. So yeah, I'd just like to say thank you for watching. If you have any suggestions or questions, leave a comment down below. You can follow me on Twitter at HippieNog2, and as always, just have a great day.